to that and you start pacing yourself.
That's high. He just may have missed it. I don't know. Bo Jackson back, leaps, and he makes the catch. Bo Jackson timing that high drive by Jack Clark perfectly, robs him of a home run, and that'll retire the side.
5 times this season he's been thrown out at second base. Line drive toward the corner in left field. It's going to be up to Bo Jackson to try to stop Reynolds from scoring. He can't do it. Yes, he can. I don't believe it. He made an absolutely perfect throw.
Here's Reynolds coming around third. Keiser's out in left field. Reynolds runs by the home plate umpire. Now the play at the plate, there's no umpire. The first base umpire is supposed to be there. It's just Boone and Reynolds. No gray shirt in the area.
You know, I'm looking at that defense. If he gets a base hit, Steve Lyons guarding the line. If he gets a base hit just to Lyons' left, he'd get a stand-up double. Pasqua's kind of shading him to left center a little bit.
Yeah. Jackson hits that one to left field. Danny Pasqua going back, looking up. Goodbye. It's over. 4-3. Kansas City.
This is MongolianMindset, and today we're going to be typing one of arguably the greatest athletes of all time. He played both football and baseball and was very good at it. His career came to an end. He came back after an injury, but he had a hip replacement. Well, he pulled his hip out of socket, I think, or something like that. I don't know exactly the details of it. They even said somebody couldn't do what he did with his own hip. He sustained that injury as a running back for the Oakland Raiders, but he did play both, and he did come back after a hip replacement. So today, you know, we type Deion Sanders, intj, one of the greatest athletes of all time. Today, we're going to be looking at one of the greatest athletes of all time, Bo Jackson. Okay, personality database. I couldn't really find exactly if they had Bo Jackson. I don't know. I did a little scout around. They had him as an ESTP. But we're going to look around and see what we have masked. We use Linda Barrens Interaction styles combined with cognitive functions, interaction styles and temperaments combined with cognitive functions. And we will figure out Bo Jackson's actual personality type. They had him as ESTP. I couldn't find like exactly where they had him. But I did a search around, and most people voted ESTP. So ESTPs are direct, the outcome. They're concrete. They are interest based. They're TIFE, and they're SENI. SENI. So if he meets those metrics, we will call him a ESTP. If he doesn't, we'll find his actual personality type. Okay. We use our metrics here. We have videos on all these metrics here breaking down. I think by far the best way possible. We have the interaction styles over here and the temperaments as well. Just go to how to find anyone's personality type and how to find anyone's personality playlist. And if you want to figure out how you can find the cognitive functions, go to our cognitive function videos. We have all those breakdown. I think they're the best online. I pulled several sources. Keirsey, Dario Nardi, Linda Barrens, John Beebe. Also with the things that we were seeing in real time in the typing sessions and celebrity typings, I pulled all in one document. So I think it is by far the best. So I highly recommend that. If you guys, all you have to do is go to the cognitive functions playlist, and you can look at all of those. We have all 8 of those, and we also have these interaction styles broken down. So let's get into this. And comment below what you think Bo Jackson type is, where you think he is. Arguably the greatest athlete of all time, so we shall see.
What's up, everyone? In today's video, I have a conversation with the Bo Jackson, one of the greatest athletes of all time. We talk about how he went from living in a 700 square foot house with 10 siblings to becoming one of the greatest athletes of all time and doing the Bo Knows Nike commercial, which is one of the biggest campaigns ever. Talk about that and what he's been up to in the last 15 years. Enjoy.
A lot of people don't.
And we are still doing the free typing sessions, and I do believe that we are arguably the best at typing, and if not, we will be soon. Okay, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, join the Facebook or Discord. Discord's getting more live. I'm gonna have to structure that very soon. I think too much is going on over there, but I do personally hang out more in the Facebook group, so join those two and message the moderator Cody. Look for Cody, and the moderators are either the Discord or the Facebook group and message him, and he will get back to you with availability. We're doing this absolutely free. People are charging money for this. We're doing this free because we love you guys, and we learn something too. So go ahead and find your personality type, and remember,
don't know how to separate what they do for a living. They don't know how to separate their job from the life.
We're getting they. That's usually SE. Okay. So I'm gonna go and hit him for SE and I because SE and I are on an axis. So I'm gonna hit him for SE and I there.
After that job, because a lot of people think, well, this is gonna last forever.
Talking about what other people think, these people think that it's gonna last forever. That's usually a TE statement. TE talks about what other people are thinking, as in TI is more about what I think, what I have, my deductive reasoning, if this then that statement. So I'm gonna hit him for TE. But when you hit somebody for TE, you also hit them for FI. So I'm hitting TE, FI.
And it doesn't. And I was never in that boat. I never thought that way. Even before I went to college, I knew that I wanted to be in and out of college sports, professional sports by the time I was in my early 30s.
So he knew what he was going to do before. You see that he already knew what he was going to do. So I'm going to say that's NI, okay? And I'm also going to say that's outcome. He had an outcome in mind. He had an end product in mind, okay? He's not just going through the journey of sports or anything. He knew what he was going to do. Outcome.
In 30s, sports was never the center of my universe. And I think that's where a lot of people cheat themselves.
For my audience, a lot of marketing, small business, young entrepreneurs, I think they're, want to hear the backstory behind the Bo Knows campaign.
Oh my God, he kind of looks like fucking Debo.
We're doing storyboards for...
he looks like, go back, he looks like motherfucking Debo, man. Oh my Lord, he looks like Debo. Oh, I'm going to have to do Debo. But look at that shirt there and everything, looks like fucking Debo.
My audience is a lot of marketing, small business, young entrepreneurs. I think they're, want to hear the backstory behind the Bo Knows campaign.
We were doing storyboards for a commercial. This was when computers was first coming on the scene. And we had the storyboards laid out here on the table instead of getting on the computer.
Yeah, we. And it's talk about the collective and what they're doing. I'm in for SE again.
This was archaic. And we were trying to figure out how we should combine these posters to do one scene. And we had a little too much going on. So I said, why don't you take this and put it with this one? Let's take this one out and we can use this one in the other scene. And somebody across the table said...
So he's talking about having like control, artistic control over the end product here. He's talking about that. So I'm here for outcome. That's control there. Outcome control. He's talking about how he's controlling the production here.
Wow. Bo knows. And it stood out from that conversation sitting at the table back in 1985, 86. And that's where the Bo Knows campaign started.
Has anyone seen Bo's ball? I know, Kansas City. Nice shoes.
Did you think it was going to be big? Do you think
Nobody knew that the Bo Knows campaign would have been that big, and it's still going 30 years later. But luckily, we had the right people. We had the right marketing group. We had the right director. We had the right producers behind the scenes and making sure everything go right.
Did you mind all the attention? You said you wanted to deflect it. You didn't. Once the campaign, I imagine you go out now. You everyone recognizes you everywhere you go.
Listen, even in college, when everybody claimed their teammates,
man.
because without
them,
them,
you know what that picture right there looks like. Go back. That's Will Smith and him.
Claim their teammates, because without them, I wouldn't be the person that I am. They helped me get to where I am, and I was never a flamboyant person. Put it to you like, I wasn't Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is a good friend.
He's talking about Deion here. He's referencing Deion, TE reference. This guy's SENITE if I user. It's looking like this guy. I want to say he is in. If I had to just close it off right here, 2 minutes 48 seconds in, I'm going ISFP.
He is a very good friend of mine. Charles Barkley is a good friend of mine. And I was and I think it stems from my speech impediment as a kid, that I was always quiet. I always wanted to stay in the background.
I always wanted to stay in the background. Who stays in the background? Who stays in the background? Background types. Informative outcome. Let's go.
Until this day, I'm like that. I would rather
Till this day, I'm still like that. Okay.
Attention to someone else. Because now that I'm older, I don't need it. And most of the time, I don't even want it.
Now,
I know how I am.
Wants, that's SENI again.
I like my privacy. After a football game.
Privacy, responding. Okay. We know that if you are outcome, informative, responding, you're automatically background. That's what he's talking about here. Let's go back and listen to him say it again.
As a kid, that I was always quiet. I always wanted to stay in the background. And till this day, I'm like that. I would rather reflect the attention to someone else. Because now that I'm older.
Oh, we got him. Okay, informative, responding, outcome. We got background, TIFE, pragmatic, SENI. We're done. Really, we're done. He's ISP.
I don't need it. And most of the time, I don't even want it. Yeah. I know how I am. I like my privacy.
I know who I am. That's FI, because you're congruent with your personality, congruent with who you are, your morals, your values. FI, I know who I am.
Football game, I'm room 221, Sewell Hall. I was in my room, and I got my door open in my dorm, and the dorm is a ghost town because everybody's out partying. I understood
after he won games, he went right back to his dorm. He's chilling, relaxing, and everybody else is partying. Background.
Early age is that in order to be a superstar on the playing field, you got to be a superstar in the classroom first, because every week you get up and read the paper. Some high profile athlete is in trouble. I knew where I come from, and I knew how hard my mother worked to support 10 kids. I didn't want anything to reflect back on her.
How was your upbringing?
I didn't want anything, so we closing out SENI. You know how we do things. Once we get 5 points, we're going to close it out. Like we said, we know this guy's already an ISFP, but we got to conduct our data. Okay, so that's SENI. This guy's responding. So we got a background type. Background types are informative, responding. Oh shit, that's done. That's actually fucking done. That's done, because if he's background type, the only background type that's SENI is the ISFP. That's a shortcut straight to the ISFP. Okay, if you get responding, informative, SENI, automatic ISFP, because the other ones are SINE. The ISFJ, the INTP, and the INFP are all SINE. So if you get an SE, NI, informative, responding, auto ISFP, game over. But hey, we got another 10 minutes to watch, so let's watch it.
My mother raised 10 kids in a 3-room house that was less than 700 square feet. That was right at 700 square feet. Jeez. Outdoor plumbing, which means we had an outhouse in the backyard. No running hot water. I went to school barefoot, weather like that outside.
In the snow?
In the snow, because I didn't have shoes to wear. I'm thinking that's normal. I'm thinking that all kids that don't have shoes to wear got to go to school barefoot. I realized that I was the only person sitting in the classroom with no shoes on, and the teacher noticed me, and she contacted the Board of Education, not because my mother was a bad parent, but because I didn't have shoes to wear. I remember this man's face, got me and took me downtown Bessemer and bought me a new pair of shoes. So, me being down to earth, you can't miss something that you never had or never experienced. And I try to help people, because a lot of people helped my mom out when I was a kid. There were days, hell, when we didn't have nothing to eat but cornbread. My mother was a custodial worker. But in the thing that I say about that, instead of calling them a maid or a janitor, I call them custodial engineers.
So it's giving them a TE name, custodial engineers. That's TFI.
That's what my mother was. And whenever I speak any big convention to where they're serving dinner or something, I always make it a point to recognize those people. And the thing that I do when I see these people, I stop them and shake their hand and say, I see you. I see.
That's an SE thing, giving people a good experience. So that'd be SE and I.
You.
One thing that I'm really impressed with is that you grew up, you had a bunch of brothers, your mom was working all the time. From the stories I've heard about you, like your morals and your discipline, from that, I'm curious how you developed that, like the morals about Tampa Bay, the morals about going to Auburn. Where do you think that came from?
It's just the fact that when my mother said that she was going to do something, she'd do it. Period. And most of the time when she said that she was going to do something, it was more like, boy, I'm going to whoop your ass. And then I take out running. And she tell my brothers and sisters, if you don't catch him, you are going to take his ass whooping for it. And they chase and they run me down. But that was all part of my childhood, because I needed that. Because if I didn't, who knows where I would be right now.
What happened with...
If I didn't, then who knows where I'd be. That was a T.I. statement from T.I. Demon.
Tampa Bay?
At the time, they knew that I was going to be the first round, that I was going to be the first player picked. And they had the first pick in the draft. They also knew that I was a standout baseball player. And first couple of weeks into baseball season, I was hit 600 with 8-9 home runs already, and we were just 2 weeks into the season. And I had to take a visit. You know how they take a visit to the teams that's probably going to draft you first. And I had the guy that was acting as my manager, because I didn't have an agent at the time. You didn't allow to have an agent in the SEC. You're not to have an agent, but I had a manager to help me facilitate everything, and they coincided with the manager to have me to come to Tampa to visit over the weekend. And
a lot of fucking information, guys. Informative. Watch our video on what informal language is.
They said, well, Mr. Coverhouse is going to send his jet to pick you up. I asked my manager, was it okay? Did they check with the NCAA? And he came back and said, Tampa Bay checked with the NCAA, and since you're going to be the first round pick of theirs, that you can fly on their jet. Well, I went there, spent the weekend there, had a nice time visiting with the players, going out to dinner and so forth and so on. I got back to college. I think I played in 2 games. Then the third game that I was about to play in, I was going to the baseball park. And I got to the park in my uniform. And the coach said, Bo, can I talk to you on the side of the building? Behind the dugout. I said, yeah. He said, did you take a trip to Tampa Bay last week to go visit them? I said, yes, sir, I did. He said, so how did you go? I said, I flew on the owner's jet. Hugh Coverhouse sent his jet over to Columbus to pick me up. He said, did they check with the NCAA to make sure they was legal? I said, yes, sir. They told me that they did. And he said, Bo, they never did. And the NCAA has declared you ineligible for the rest of the baseball season. And I sat behind the dugout and cried like a baby. I said, well, since they fucked me out of my baseball season.
Since they fucked me, pragmatic. Okay.
I'm going to fuck them out of their first round draft pick.
I'm going to fuck them out of their first round draft pick. That's the outcome too.
And it's going to hurt them way more than it's going to hurt me, than what they did to me. And I told them, I said, I will sit out an entire year and go play with another football team before I come and play for Tampa Bay.
And if I coming out, you fuck me, motherfucker, I'm going to fuck you.
They, well, we going to draft. Well, they figured, well, this is a poor black kid, he ain't never, and then we going to draft you anyway. And they didn't believe me. And I told them no. I said, nope, I'm not going. I said, I'm sitting out.
So, like, yeah, when FIE will tell you something, they're going to stay conducive to what they told you. Especially when it goes on their principles and morals. Like he said, he didn't give a fuck that he was fucking poor. He's not playing for your team. That's millions of dollars he left by. Good job, ISFP.
And then once baseball season was over, in the supplementary baseball draft, so a lot of teams were looking at me. And my head coach, he played a short stint with the Kansas City Royals. So the Kansas City Royals and
you know
Art
who he looks
Stewart.
like to me? Like, look at this photo. If I had to like take a look at this picture here, kind of looks like Mike Tyson. Looks like a little bit darker skinned Mike Tyson. Look at that photo right there. It looks like Mike Tyson.
Who is still the oldest major league scout, scouted me. So they drafted me in the supplementary draft. And then a year afterwards,
And I mean, this guy's concrete as fuck. I mean, come on. He's concrete as fuck. Concrete as fuck. I put a big
time
X.
was up.
I put a big X on concrete. Big X on concrete. Let's go. Big X. We already know he's ISFP. We're just going to finish out the video here and conduct data so you guys
Being
can
under
decide
the
better.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I could look at other teams, and the Raiders call. So I think I get part of I wouldn't call it stubbornness, but if I give you my word, that's my bond.
If I give you my word, that's my bond. Congruent to who I am as a personality, FI.
If I tell you that I'm going to hit you in the head with a rock tomorrow at 11:30, no matter where you are, you're going to get hit in the head with a rock at 11.
I mean, some people say that's a TI statement because that's if this and that statement, but that's more of like him going back to who he is as a person. Kind of combining some TI demon there.
11:30 because that's what I did, and so forth and so on. So your word, in my view, is your bond, and if
Your
you
word is your bond.
break that, then you can't be trusted.
There's one thing
Then he's not gonna break his principles and morals. Come on.
I heard from Lance's show about your parenting style where you burn your kids' clothes.
In my house, I'm not going to say strict rules, but I don't allow my kids to grow up thinking that they're little rich.
He's not gonna allow them to grow up thinking a certain way. That's TE. We know this already. So, he's controlling what they're thinking, and that's a control aspect or an outcome statement. We know this guy. ISFP. Stop playing with me.
Suburban kids that could do whatever they want. And I have rules just in my house. You take your dirty clothes off, put them in the hamper, or put them in the dirty clothes dry cleaner's bag. And my daughter, she understood that rule. My oldest son, he understood that rule. And my youngest son, Nick, took his clothes off. And I told him, I said, look, the cleaning lady, when she comes here, it's not her job to pick your dirty clothes up off of the floor and put them in there. I said, if that happens again, you will know about it. I didn't tell him what I was going to do. About a week later, I go down.
He's informing him. I'm trying to motivate you to action here. I'm telling you, hey, put your clothes in the hamper, but I'm not going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do.
And look in the room, and his clothes in the middle of the floor. I picked them all up. I took them out. I had a little smoker out in the backyard. I put them in there, put lighter fluid on them, threw a match in there about 2:45. He gets home about 3:30. Bus drops him off. He comes in. And I say, Nicky, come in here. And I make him stand by the window. And I said, look out in the backyard. Tell me what you see. He said, nothing. I said, what do you see out there that you normally don't see when you look out in the yard? He said, well, I see smoke coming out of that thing. And I said, what do you think that is in that smoker? He said, I don't know. I said, do you remember yesterday what you wore to school? Yeah. I said, do you remember where you left it when you took it off? He said, no. I said, where did you leave? On the floor. I said, guess what? Everything you left on the floor, the remains is in that thing. That's why it's smoking. You want to go out there and take a look? He went out there and got a stick, reached out in there and pulled up. I don't know if it's part of his jeans or his hoodie that he had. Just dropped the stick back there and put his head down. I hadn't had that problem since.
I hope you love this video as much as I did.
I'm going to give you a shitty ass SC experience. You ain't never going to do that shit again. Okay, we got Bo Jackson as a ISFP. Obviously, trying trying to think of Enneagram here. What was he mostly talking about? This guy. I'm between 1 and 8. I really am between 1 versus an 8. And why? Because this motherfucker's all about his morals. It's all about his principles. I'm gonna roll with 8. 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 8. I'm gonna roll 8W9. I'm gonna roll 8W9. Instinct wise, I'm gonna roll. He's not like me. I'm gonna go SP. Self-preserving. And the reason I'm gonna go with that is because he seems to be self-preserving. He isn't doing one-on-one type interactions with people. He's not doing group interactions. So sexual is one-on-one dynamic. SP is about yourself, self-preserving, self-prevalence or whatever. And then you have the social is more about multiple people. So I'm gonna go SPXX. I gotta go SPXX. Okay. I got him as 8W9, SPXX, Bo Jackson, ISFP, easy to see. But comment below what you thought Bo Jackson was. Like I said, those morals are very important to him. His FI is very important to him. Even when he was cheated or whatnot, he said, "You fuck me, I'm gonna fuck you." Pragmatic statement. But I'm also going to stay on what my word is. If I tell you something, I'm gonna stay by. FI. That's the FI. That's strong ass FI. Okay. So yeah, we got him as ISFP. Comment below what you thought Bo Jackson type was. He's one of the greatest athletes of all time. We got him as an ISFP. Deion Sanders is the INTJ. So this is Mongolian Mindset, and we are out.